Good evening. You're watching The Right Stand with me, Poonam Burde. Allegations of corruption are crippling India's holiest shrines. How did corruption creep into some of the most revered sites of Hindu worship? From claims of systematic loot in the Sabarimala temple to shocking revelations of toxic adulteration in Tirupati's Laddu. Today, faith of many stands shaken. Have states started exploiting devotion for profit is a question many ask. We have information that is exclusive to CNN News 18, which goes on to show that how there was systematic pilferage in more cases than one, in more temples than one across southern India. The SIT has completed its investigation in the Tirupati Laddu case. It has found massive adulteration. The charge sheet is likely to be filed soon. The SIT has found that up to 80% chemical use was seen in these Prasad Laddus. Containers were rejected. All of these samples were brought back for distribution as Prasad as part of conspiracy is what the agency believes. The GM procurement is likely to be named by the SIT for conspiracy, for bribery and for putting public health at risk. When the charge sheet is filed, we'll know more details. A Delhi-based trader is likely to be named as well for supplying chemicals. Bole Baba Dairy is the one that's likely to be named for providing this adulterated product under the guise of ghee. The SIT is likely to name personnel staff of board members of that particular, there was some board for disciplinary action for dereliction of duty. Remember, earlier the SIT probe report had found temple at Tirumala was supplied 68 lakh kilograms of the spurious ghee that was worth 250 crores, which is used for making the famous prasad. All of this probe was from 2019 to 2024. Approximately 20 crore laddus out of the 48 crore ones that were produced between this time period were found to be adulterated. Roughly 40% of the total laddus distributed to devotees during that 5-year period were prepared using this spurious ghee. The adulterated content supplied was valued at approximately 250 crores, and that investigation is on its only gathering pace. There are fresh revelations that have come to the fore in another temple in another state. The Lord Ayyappa Swami temple at Sabarimala is also mired in multiple controversies, especially as far as the gold loot is concerned. An enforcement directorate probe has revealed that 100 grams of gold that was seized from Smart Creations in Chennai seems to be from the proceeds of crime or seems to be a part of this particular temple's gold. Documents show that financial impropriety is present. Gold was shown as copper, and that's the fraud that the agency is looking at. The accused properties worth 1.3 crore have also been frozen under the PMLA by the Enforcement Directorate. The scope of this investigation has now expanded from gold theft to temple finance audit. The past donations that have been made to the Lord Ayyappa Swami temple are also being reviewed to track financial irregularities and if the rot runs deeper. It's not just this particular scam as far as the Sabarimala temple goes. In the same temple, just a few months ago, there was another scam that came to the fore. Ghee packets that are sold at the temple, there seems to be a discrepancy in that as well. 89,121 ghee packets were sold. The price of only 75,000 odd packets was remitted. Where did the rest of the money go? Sale proceeds of over 13,600 packets completely went missing. There is no document trail to that effect. 13,67,000 was allegedly siphoned off is the allegation in just a period of 2 months. A shortage of over 22,000 packets worth of this particular ghee that went missing, or that money has not been remitted. That is something that is being looked into. The total shortfall is estimated to be around 35 lakhs. So from Tirumala to Sabarimala, it's a direct assault on Astha, on the faith of people, millions of them in this country. That is why chorus is growing whether it's time to free temples from state control. Is that what the next step should be? Should the management then be given to the community like we see in places of worship everywhere else? So let's open this up. Narayan Tirupati, Chief Spokesperson of BJP Tamil Nadu, is with us as Balan, leader of the left. Rahul Ishwar, an activist, will be joining us shortly. Sarfaraz Vani, lawyer and political analyst, is here as well. But Mr. Balan, let me begin by asking you, as far as the Sabarimala temple is concerned, a lot of the roads lead to the left's door. A lot of these discrepancies, alleged irregularities, financial ones at that, corruption allegations, bribery allegations. Eventually, the government is the one that controls, that is in charge of administrative responsibilities for these temples, which are looked by 5 boards in the state. Is the state government not answerable?
See, do you believe in the system of state? We have a constitution, we have a system, we have laws, we have judgments. See, there are filtrage. Law will take its own case, its own course. It's a crime. Anyone loot any temple money or any trust money is an offense. The court is taking care of it. But the narrative that it should be given to the devotees, what type of devotees he speak? That means that there are corruption in the defense deal, corruption in Reserve Bank, corruption in so many banks, corruption in secretariat level, corruption in everything. Do you mean to say that India should not own anything? It should be given to private, like airports are given to Adani, seaports, aircrafts given to Tatas.
But if there is
Reserve Bank.
mismanagement coming
What is
in and
this?
there is political
What is this?
interference, why
See,
not?
Please listen to me.
Sure.
See, this is a small money. When Nirav Chomsky, Nirav Modi, Vijay Mallya looted thousands of crores. 16 lakh crores waived off the corporate,
And the investigation is going on in that case.
See,
What
this
is the
all
connection
money.
with this?
Then why? See, your narrative.
Even if 1
because
rupee
there
or
is
1
some
paisa goes
place-
missing, it's problematic,
because
sir.
there
It
is
doesn't
some
matter what the amount of money is gone.
Your narrative, it should be denationalized. It should be given to private. Yes, so many things are given to private. What is happening in so many things? See, we are a socialistic country, and this narrative, this thinking that it should be given to devotees. Which devotee you mean? Tamil Nadu has 36,000 temples. Do you have one Dalit priest? When some priests were trained, then you went to Supreme Court, got it stayed. You don't want Savarnas, Avarnas to be a temple priest, and you wanted to have complete control over it over a period of 3,000 years. It is one oligarchy controlled the temple property. It should be with the government at any cost. It
And
should
what
not
has
be
that
given to
achieved?
private.
And what has that achieved, Mr. Balan? What has that achieved? Has that not achieved allegations of corruption, of bribery, of alleged mismanagement of temples, of money going missing? If that is a problem,
Yes.
then should that not be fixed? Are you saying that we should
Fixed
turn a
then
blind
you
eye to
wanted
it?
You don't have a trust on the government, you don't have a trust on IAS, you don't have a trust on state, then why should we have a government?
Sir,
If there is
administrative
corruption in
officers of the
parliament,
Sabarimala temple have been arrested for
corruption in
this.
No, madam, corruption.
Trust
in
is
every
obviously going to get
legislature.
eroded.
Every NATA's parliamentarians are bought and sold. Do you mean to say that our parliament should be privatized? Corruption is there. It is there everywhere in the world, and we should have
It's not something that we should be
have a
okay with, sir.
investigative
I'm sorry, I do not agree with you there, and I don't think people on this panel or the rest of the country also will agree with you. When we say if corruption exists, we should just turn a blind eye to it because, well, it exists, and
No,
we
I
should
don't
just
say
make
that.
do with
I
it.
don't say that. See, court is monitoring the investigation, and the investigation is going on. Have faith in our investigating agency.
Sure.
Have faith on our honorable courts. Even in Tirumala, it is not run by somebody else. Tirupati devotees have faith. They are going, contributing. They are running several
Absolutely.
schools and colleges.
Absolutely,
Do you mean to say
that people
Tirupati-
still have
colleges
faith,
should be
but
given
that
to
faith
private
is
individuals?
in their belief
Yes,
into
we
this.
have a system.
Calls
We
for
have a
calls for
system.
freeing temples of this country from state control have been sure. There is no communalizing, sir. This is a call for accountability, and that needs to be done. But Mr. Balan, I'll come back to you. I need to get in the other gentlemen in as well. Narayana Tirupati, as far as temples are concerned, there have been allegations like this coming in from temples of Tamil Nadu as well.
Yes, 100%. Yes, the temples are becoming the places of dens of the dacoits and looters. That is what is happening in Tamil Nadu, Andhra, and Kerala. We say that yes, the Hindu religious board or whatever they call in Kerala, whatever they call in Andhra, they all loot. It's a planned assault. It's a conspiracy on the temples. It's a conspiracy on the devotees. He is asking who is a devotee? Devotee is what? In that place, in each and every place, the deity is the owner of the temple. The law very clearly says. Several high courts and Supreme Court judgments have very clearly said that the government has got no right to involve in the day-to-day activities of the temple. But what is happening is looting of temple. When he says that you don't have faith in the court, yes, we have faith in the court. But what you are doing, you are only violating the court's order, and you are only not respecting the courts, and you are still there in the temples and looting the public. That is what is happening. Whatever we give, the public give, is being looted by the politicians. And that too, you see a leftist saying that everything is happening in the country. He's talking about Adani. Why you gave airport to Adani? Why you gave Virinja Port? Why your chief minister went there? I don't understand. For you, Adani will be good in Kerala and Adani will not be good in other places. What is this? This is not right.
Oh, give everything to Adani.
Why you given? You tell me first. If you have the guts,
But
you ask Adani to get out.
I don't know where privatization is coming to the fore. This is not an apples to apples comparison, Mr. Balan. But let me get in the other two gentlemen in as well. Sarfaraz Wani, why is it that only temples are under government control? Waqf boards control mosques. The proceeds or the money or the revenue that's generated by mosques is for the community, meant to be handled within the community, but the revenues of the temple goes to the state government. It's used for much broader use than just for the community. The same goes for churches as well. So if there is one yardstick, why not apply it to every religion? Isn't that what equality is about before the law?
See, this is a broader question of the erosion of this secular fabric of the country by the BJP and the present dispensation. This is a broader question, not only about temples, not only about these institutions. See what was done by the Waqf Act itself. How you eroded the autonomy of the Muslim shrines and Muslim boards by appointing the members, the heads of the Waqf board, which are to be appointed by the government. So this is not a question only of the temples. I am saying have every religious body, be it a temple, be it a shrine, be it any institution under Waqf, give them the autonomy, because that is what our constitution speaks about. It doesn't speak about erosion. It doesn't speak about taking away the control. I am telling you, even if a temple is run by the people concerned, what does stop the government from investigating? The government can even otherwise file FIR if there is disproportion of assets, right? So there is nothing that government should have absolutely direct control either on a temple, but I will not be selective. You are also eroding the Muslim shrines. You are also eroding the Muslim properties by the name of these acts, by amending
but
the
you
Waqf
are saying
Act.
exactly
So
what I
presently
said.
This is a broader question
The
of
Waqf Act, the Waqf Amendment Act was enacted in the recent past, in the last 6 to 8 months. Up until then, there was no erosion of autonomy for mosques and their administration. But because somebody decided that there will be a board which will oversee these Waqf boards, and that is problematic. What happens to all the temples, especially in states like Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, all of whom are overlooked by boards that are set up by the government of the state? Where does autonomy of the temples then go?
The problem is you have eroded the autonomy of all the Muslim shrines, properties by a central act. Tell me any act for the temples. There is no act for the temples.
There is an HRNC department, especially in Tamil Nadu, sir. There are acts that are implemented by the state governments. There are rules. It's in the concurrent list. The state government has its under its purview the provision to look at temples and administer them, which is exactly what they have been doing. So there is a central act for the administration of mosques, and that's a big problem. But there is a state act for the administration of temples, and that's okay. Why is that disparity? That's exactly the question I'm asking.
My point is there is a central law which you have passed in parliament for all the Muslim properties. So there is, I am not saying, I am saying there is wrong being done to both the sides. It's not a wrong done to only to these temples, it's done to all the Muslims by regulating their properties under a common law, and that also by appointing the members by the government. So where is autonomy? If the chairman is appointed by government, there is no autonomy. If the head is always answerable to the government, there is no autonomy. So my point is,
then by that logic, sir, then everyone's equal before the law, isn't it? Because Hindus also have no autonomy over their places of worship. Now you are saying Muslims also don't have it. So well, at least in that sense, there is some consistency. But Rahul Ishwar, is this argument valid that autonomy cannot be given to the community for temples, because that is also problematic, because that's when you again see pilferage. There will be a certain elite of that particular community that will wield control, and the rest within the community will not get access, which is why the state needs to intervene. That's the argument that's being made.
Two quick submissions. Freedom with or freedom movement.
We'll try and reconnect that line with Rahul Ishwar there. But Narayan Tirupati, you were also wanting to make a point when we were discussing the kind of control that state governments have. And I was mentioning the HRNC department, especially as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. And that seems to have been problematic, especially in the recent controversy that we saw, like in Madurai. that the state government is wielding way too much interference where they shouldn't be?
See, the HRNC's Act very clearly says that it is a supervisory body. What is a supervisory body should do is that if any problems are there in the management of the temples, they can go and solve this problem. But instead, the HRMC takes the full control of the temple, day-to-day activities, the entire properties. In fact, here in some places, when a temple land is being taken from the leasehold, then the HRMC says that it belongs to the government of Tamil Nadu. It is not so. It belongs to the temple. Who is the owner of the temple? The deity. Supreme Court very clearly says so many judgments against the government, so many strictures against the government that these people are looting the temples. But the governments, whether it is in Kerala or Andhra or here in Tamil Nadu, they don't leave it. That is what we are saying. The communist government in Kerala is responsible for what all the loots have happened in Kerala for the last so many years. He is telling it is a small thing. How can a person say thousands and lakhs of people, devotees, they come and they devote so much of money, gold, everything, and these politicians loot everything, and he is telling that it's a very small money. What is small money for communists? It is small money. How many kgs of gold? How many tons of gold? And in Tirupati, in Laddu, this has happened in the previous regime. And who is responsible for that? Again, the politicians, because of the political appointment. This is because of politicians. And the Waqf Act very clearly says, we have all suffered because of the previous Waqf Act, which very clearly says wherever Waqf says that this is our land, then immediately the land will be seized and nobody could, even sell it. The owners of the properties are getting into problem. And the Waqf Act is definitely good for the Muslim community. It is very, very clear. And see, in Kerala, the Ayyappan temple, what these leftists did, in the Ayyappan temple, they had one stand, whereas in the Jacobite case, they had one more stand. This is communal. The communists are communal party. They are trying to instigate violence between the religions. This is what they are trying to do. And they are catching hold of the temple properties, looting the public money.
Yes, Mr. Sure. Yes, Raulishwar, I'll come to you. Mr. Balan, you had a rebuttal to make quickly before I get in. Raulishwar, yes.
See, my question is to Mr. Tirupati from Tamil Nadu. See, there are temples. Will you agree and move a legislation appointing scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and backward class as the priest of all the temples, including Tirupati, everywhere? And your party...
What is this?
Your
you
party,
don't know, Mr. Balan.
I know.
I am telling you. If you don't know, I am telling you.
That language, don't know.
Mr. Balan, you asked a question. Now let him respond. Mr. Balan, you asked a question. Now please listen to the response as well.
If you don't know, I am telling you, please understand, in Tamil Nadu, anyone can become archakas, anyone can become priest. In Andhra Pradesh, particularly Tirupati Devasthanam temples, there are a lot of priests. Wherever the BJP ruled states, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Dalits are there in all the temples. Please understand. If you don't know, please understand. I am telling you. What you are talking is wrong. And there are judgments also in the high courts and Supreme Courts. So please understand.
But speaking of those judgments, Rahul Ishwar, there have been judgments to the contrary as well, which have necessitated the fact that there should be state control, because otherwise there is absolutely no accountability.
See,
and that's the precedent. And that's the precedent that the other side cites.
There are 2 points. One, casteism has been an historical problem, and Hindu community has been trying to overcome it, and we have succeeded it to a great extent. People like Mahatma Gandhi, Swami Vivekananda, RSS rightly did, and we have overcome it. So right now there is no casteist angle. If there are some vestiges of the past, we can overcome that too. But please remember, the core point is different. Just like our Muslim brothers and Christian brothers have a right over their church and mosque, we Hindus don't have a control over our temple under Article 25 and 26, which is a fundamental right. So the believers, Hindu believers, don't have this right. That's the reason why we always say, Mandir ko, devotees ko chhod do. That means devotees should have the right over the temple and they should run the affairs. And as Narayan Tirupati ji rightly says, there has been even Supreme Court appointed committees. For example, Paripurnan committee, which categorically said, let us not have any politician. Let spiritual leaders come in, cultural leaders come in, social leaders come in. or great artists come in. We are all welcoming that. But right now, the temple Devasam boards have become rehabilitation spaces for politicians because they are not getting any other post. And many people are openly atheistic. Imagine a great temple like Sabarimala being ruled by openly atheistic people saying that temple doesn't mean anything, God doesn't mean anything. So what we are asking for is more representation. And yes, the concern raised by the left leader, we can accommodate. That means they are they have a inhibition that Brahmins will take it all, or the so-called Savarna Hindus will take it all. That is not the case. That was the case 100 years back. But great leaders like Baba Saheb Ambedkar reformed us, Mahatma Gandhi reformed us, Mahatma Phule reformed us, Vivekananda reformed us. So right now, Hindu community is on the path of unity. There has been issues on past and we are ready to solve it. So please give back the temples to believers is a rightful demand. And state, let the secular state not involve in religious affairs. Is that not a very fair point to make? Because we Hindus also have a right over our temples. We need to have a say. Because please remember, temple belongs to the devotees, not public. Public is a very general term. Temple, church and mosque belongs to the respective devotees of those communities. And please remember, temple is not a picnic spot. Temple is not a public spot. It is a sacred space for the deity and the devotees. And what happened in Sabarimala or what is happening in Tirupati are all having reflections of non-believers intervening and making this a mess. So we want more and more believers, and court monitoring should be
But
there.
Rahul Ishwar,
We
the
respect
argument
court
is that when there are allegations of corruption, when there's allegation of misappropriation, then there are agencies that look into it, like we're seeing a CBI probe or an ED probe or an SIT probe in all of these cases. So why then lose faith in the system? That's the argument Mr. Balan was making earlier on the show.
There's a difference between investigative agencies and state control. For example, if a misadministration problem or corruption happens, we need the police, ED or CBI to investigate. Nobody is against this. But state should not directly intervene. A state, a secular state should not directly intervene in a religious affair. For example, Sabarimala young woman entry. Kerala CM, who is a non-atheist, was trying to force young woman into Sabarimala. We successfully resisted and we won. That's a different case. So what we are saying is, yes, please let the courts have oversight. We respect courts because at least courts won't play politics. Especially the far left politics. They are trying to make a mess with some of the Hindu temples and make merry of it. So we are only requesting for equal treatment. Our Christian brothers church, they are doing great, we respect that. Our Muslim brothers, their mosque, they are doing great, we respect that. Similarly, we Hindus need to have a right over our own temples. Is that not a fair proposition to make? Is that not our constitutionally mandated guarantee? Why should we Hindus suffer the weight and
Sure, there's a provision in the constitution, Sarfaraz Vani, that gives the freedom for every individual in this country to be A, equal in front of the eyes of the law, B, practice their religion as they please and according to their beliefs. And if that is something that is given to 1/2, 3/4, 1/4 of the country, however you want to look at it, why not the whole of the country?
My point is different. My point is, why are we selective? Why don't we also talk about the Muslim bodies and the Waqf bodies?
That's exactly what we're talking about, sir.
There is a
that they've been
special-
autonomous
there-
for
there
years
is a
together.
special provision.
Why no autonomy for Hindus and their temples?
That's what I'm saying. There is a special provision for minorities, and Hindus are not a minority in India, right? So you have a freedom to manage religious bodies, and that is only for the minorities. The constitution speaks about the religious minorities. Tell me by what angle are Hindus a religious minority in India? They are not, right? Number first. Number second, even if you want to manage your religious bodies, see, generally the problem is that you cannot be selective in your opinion. You have to talk about Muslims also, where you have eroded our autonomy. By enacting the Waqf amendment, you are appointing the board members and they are being appointed by the government. If the head is appointed by the government, tell me where is autonomy? Where is freedom? He takes a decision.
Sure, I'll take your argument.
No
I'll take
for
your
Muslims also
argument
in this
forward,
country.
sir.
That's
If you
not
say
right.
that is not autonomy, then how is it fair that there were some boards in these states are constituted by the state government, appointed by the
If
state government?
minorities do
Where
not
is the
have
autonomy there?
Leave aside majority.
Why?
That's
Why
what
should
I'm
there
saying.
not be
Minorities
parity?
do not have autonomy. What about majority? I am saying the first priority should be to minorities, because constitution speaks about minorities.
The constitution
That,
also
give
speaks about
minorities
equality,
the
sir.
right
What
to
about that?
administer.
Let me come here.
Yes, Mr. Tirupati.
What about the
First of
equalities
all,
for
I
all?
think my
Equality
friend
is given for
Sarfaraz
Muslims,
Vani.
but I am saying
Sarfaraz
there
Vani.
is a proper.
Sarfaraz
Sure.
Vani, being a lawyer, I humbly request you to please listen to it. What the Constitution says, One who is not a Muslim, who is not a Christian, who is not a Parsi is a Hindu. Hindu is not a religion. All these temples belongs to their native places, native community. Please understand. This is how temples have been operated. Because the government says all Hindu temples are there to loot. That is where the problem is. That is what our Rahul Ishwar also is saying. So, who is the owner of the temple? Deity. If it is in Sabarimala, Lord Ayyappa is the temple. In Triplicane, in Chennai, it is the Parthasarathi. In Trivandrum, it is, I'm telling you, in Trivandrum, it is Padmanabha Swami. Please understand. So, it is a way, it is actually, when you talk legally, I am also talking legally. All are equal, whether it is a minority or majority. Who, see, first of all, please understand the Constitution. First of all, please understand the Constitution and please
The Constitution very clearly states everyone is equal. Everyone needs to have their freedom of choice as far as practicing their religious beliefs are concerned, and that's the only demand that is coming in from one section of the society here, because parity is all that they're asking for. If every other religion gets to have autonomy over their religious places of worship, then why not Hindus? That's the one basic fundamental question that is being asked, and that will continue to be asked, because this debate has just been reignited. It will continue as we see investigations in cases like the Sabarimala gold theft or the Tirupati Laddu scam. All of these questions will be asked as those investigations gather pace. But I have to leave it there. I thank you all, gentlemen, for joining us here on The Right Stand.